Well, thank you for taking time to chat with me. Really enjoyed the film.
Oh,
So I think that this is very fair to say that this is a film that crosses genres in a lot of ways. And as performers, how do you approach something like this? Do you approach it first as a horror movie? Do you approach it first as a comedy? Do you do something differently?
good question. I didn't really think of it that way.
No, no, no.
Yeah, I felt like I definitely saw the mix between the horror and the comedy, and I absolutely loved it. I was
But they're
completely,
also so intertwined that it's like I never get very technical, unless playing, you're playing like an actual person and you have to do your research and then there's a certain amount of technical stuff that you have to do. But when it's something, I mean, your Elizabeth is was a real person. But like with Joan, you kind of just have free reign to approach it however you want. But I never really get too technical with approaching roles anyway. And so this one, the horror and the comedy was so intertwined innately that it just seemed like you just had to go for it and just follow everyone's lead.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add?
me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that I did have this sense of, or just my own take on it, belief that because it was very wordy, and I felt like there definitely had to be like a rhythm and a cadence to everything to make it work because we were trying to pack a lot into everything, like every moment, every scene. And I loved that. Um, and I think that I am very technical. I think I do work like that. And I try to be because I also really care about like our creator, and this wasn't just our director, it was our writer, and it's like his vision. And so
Yeah.
when I get the script and I, you know, get this sense of what he hopes for, I really want to make sure that I'm doing that justice. And so I think if anything, I felt like that was something that I tried to um what is it? Like it just embrace so that those moments could land, so that it could work. Because it was such a big part of it, like having that comedic element mixed in with the horror. Because and I personally was passionate about that and enjoyed it because I'd never seen anything like that. So that's what I loved so much. Like when I read the script, I loved the whole world, totally on board with playing a vampire, but then I just loved the way that it was presented and I loved these conversations that they had with one another. Like it was so different. So yeah, it was a little bit how I approached it.
For sure. And I think, one of the things that really stood out to me about this film is that, like, yes, it has the action, yes, it has the camp, but something that really surprised me, I will say, is how poignant and perhaps even sad it is by the end of the film. So, how did this kind of, stand out to you, like the poignancy of the film?
Which is so true, but so funny to me because I love the relationship between Joan and Elizabeth so much. Like she truly loves Joan. And then obviously in the end, where it is sad because she can't ever get anyone like Joan back and is trying to turn Cora, um, just to like fill that hole that Elizabeth shouldn't even really have because why would she care? But it's like she lost her life partner. And I just think it's so
It was
darkly funny.
a relationship.
What?
It was a very codependent relationship.
Yeah, yeah, and so that's what's interesting. Like, and I love that you said that because it really shows like what a mix of everything there was in this film that you could even get to the point where you actually were able to feel that as well is kind of
Yeah.
surprising.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add?
Oh God. Not really, no. I think Mina hit the nail on the head as far as the relationship between Joan and Elizabeth. You know, it, you know, I mean, Joan's just wild. So of course you couldn't replace her. I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
yeah, I'm. pretty much of the same frame of mind as Mina.
Yeah, and I think it's cool too because it just kind of like showcases them in a different way. It's like you're showing vampires, which we've always kind of seen, but it's like, especially with Joan, like now she's trying to connect with being more human. It's like you're experiencing these moments of trying to like humanize them. And so again, that's what I think is interesting that you felt this like sadness at the end. Like they are these real people that are just living this really, really dark existence. But vampires should be happy too, is it's like it's interesting.
Yeah, and I think this Countess Bathory, I don't know if we want to call it like a myth or an urban legend or like that story is kind of making a resurgence. Obviously, there's this film, Isabelle Huppert was just in another film about this myth. So what do you think it is about this story that is so intriguing?
I don't know. I wonder if it's like interesting now because everybody's looking for like the fountain of youth and like coming up with these like twisted ideas on like how can you live forever? Well, maybe Elizabeth had it, you know.
I
Yeah,
think also, oh, sorry.
no, say, yeah.
No, but like along the lines of also like Vlad the Impaler and like leading into Dracula and leading into it's like I think there's a part of people, not to get too morbid, but it's like I think people are intrigued about like how dark people can get and whether they're and when it is like a mythical figure where you're not entirely sure if they're based on someone real or if it's like I think it just it's not to make it deeper than it needs to be or more cerebral than it needs to be, but I do think a part of human nature is kind of acknowledging taboo things and that darkness I think intrigues a lot of people because it's something that you don't it's not like dinner conversation normally.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the hidden kind of recess of human nature.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, while the two of you are like the eponymous characters, this film is an ensemble film with a very large stacked cast. So how do you guys as actors go about, balancing making your own mark on the film versus like fitting into this larger puzzle?
It was easy with my character because she was so just like this pinball, really. She just was all over the place and you never really knew where she was at. And if she was, because there were I think she was just torn. There were parts of being a vampire that she loved, and she loves Elizabeth. And as much as vampires aren't really supposed to be capable of love, and um but it really with her it was easy to kind of leave some kind of mark because she is the kind of wild card of the bunch. She doesn't have a plan. She's just kind of blah.
And for you?
For me, I guess I don't really understand the question. You mean leaving a mark as my character
How do you like
or as an ensemble?
stand out while still like fitting into this piece of like as an ensemble?
My character, you mean?
Yes.
Um, well, I mean, to me, Elizabeth was so much of the driving force, and she was such the leader to the coven. Um, I think that that's, I mean, to me, sort of like understood and, or at least like with herself. And yeah, she's so driven. Like there's no time for anything else. I think it's like what India was saying earlier. She's all business, you know? And so she has to, it's about survival. Like it's all about um continuing to survive as everything is evolving and she has no uh cares around it. So I think that yeah, and I mean she's again, even those moments like in the bar where Sarah's character Helena is bringing up like the hunter. It's always like I think understood like going to Elizabeth to kind of get the direction and the order. Um, so I think she naturally was just kind of like in that position of power, and that's what's interesting is that you really see her like meet her match, with Cora, and you see her then uh, affected and brought to a different place with Joan and her behavior.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much again for your time. I really enjoyed the
Thank you.
film, and I can't wait to see what you guys do next.